Bears in Space. Initial thoughts. Let's hear it.
What did you make me watch?
I made you watch a lot of funky games, but this has got to be one of the top ones as well.
This looks incredible.
Yeah, see, it's one of those games that it's like you don't expect it to be fun, and then you look at it and you play the demo, Adam. So I did play the demo, and there's a lot of things I want to say about it, but you want to start out with the trailer?
Yeah, let's go ahead and pull up the trailer. If you guys have not heard of this absolute gem, Bears in Space, which will be dropping on March 22nd, so very, very, very soon. What we're looking at right now is what do they call it? A bullet hell FPS.
Yeah, it's a FPS with just, again, for that drone or that consumer drone junkie, it's pretty colors, big explosions, a lot of shooting, a lot of destruction, and it's just a game that has tons of different randomness to it. You play as Max Atwell, and your DNA is combined with a she-bear named Beartana, and yeah, Beartana, and so like she gives you some abilities like a bear. And really, it's just a horde shooter that has bright colors, explosions, very simple. It's supposed to be very fast paced, which to me, it looks like a fun game, right?
It looks like a really, really fun game. Yeah. So it's good. Guys, it's going to be developed by Broadside Games, which is just honestly, from what I've seen, just three friends that have come together and made this game. And you know me, man, like, I think that's really, really cool when these like, just, a group of buddies just gets together and makes like an indie game. It looks super, super fun. But yeah, like you said, you're going to be taking over the position of Maxwell Atoms. I love that name. It's not Atoms like ADAMS too. It's
ATOMS.
Yeah, it's like Atoms. So I think that's really, really cool. And yeah, your DNA has been merged with Beartana, the infamous she-bear. And I think it's just one of those games that's just like, this game is just going to be fun. Like we talked about it with like Killer Bean and stuff like that, where it's like, this game is just going to be silly.
Yeah, and from my experience, that's kind of what I experienced when playing it. Kind of going into it a little bit, it has very basic elements in terms of like traversal things. Like you'll have a double jump, a dash, a dodge, and you essentially are just fighting through different levels of clearing out enemies. And the more you go, you'll come across boss fights and things like that. You can upgrade your weapons. You can buy weapons. And as you level up your weapons, they become more like you upgrade them by killing more, and then your gun upgrades automatically, which is kind of cool. You also get a power called, I'm probably gonna say this wrong, Ursine Rage or Ursine Rage, which transforms you into the bear, and you have the power of the bear and the bear fu, so the kung fu bear. And beyond the first person shooter, there's also like mini games and side quests and things like that, where one of the mini games is you have to bake a cake. Another is like you investigate a crime scene. And then the one I got to play in the demos, you get to play basketball, but they call it basket cube ball, so it's the shape of a cube.
That's amazing.
And all you do is you go push people over, and you can dunk on them and shoot the ball, and it's just fun and silly.
There's a couple things that I just saw from the trailer. And number one, you talked about there being boss fights, and that was one of the questions that I had, is because like Adam said, this is going to be kind of a horde shooter. So it's basically like you, the space bear, versus a bunch of like hordes of robots. But the boss fights, how do the boss fights work?
So like you clear out the level, and you honestly, I didn't have a transition of a level. You know what I mean? Like it was straight through. Like I didn't beat a level and then transition to a new one. I was just playing the game through the whole thing. But I don't know if that's just because it was the demo. But in the demo, there's like walls that says for full game, where you couldn't go through. Like for full game.
Okay. That makes sense.
So I wonder if it's gonna be like I don't know if it's gonna be like a controlled like world where it's not open world, but it's like how we talk about with like Dark Souls and stuff. It's gonna have those kind of things, like different routes you can take. But I'm not too sure with that. However, the boss battles. So I went through the level. I got to beat one boss. It was pretty easy, to be honest. It was really easy, but I wonder, so even in the description of, like, when the demo popped up, it's like, "You will not have these guns in, like, this level of power when you play the actual game in this level," so I wonder if, like, they just gave it to you so you can, like, experience the full thing before, like, you know what I mean? Like, they wanted you to have, like, this is what it'll feel like once you get all the way up there. Um, but other than that, the boss battle was fun. Very, very easy for the first boss that I played.
Is it kind of just like a tanky health bar? Like how are the bosses like how are they like attacking you? Like what's like the scheme of the boss? Are they very mobile? Is it more cuz it kind of just looked from the trailer like when there was that scene in the trailer, it looks like you're fighting like a gigantic blender.
Yeah, and that's what it was. So the boss I fought, I think it's the one that you're talking about. Essentially, he like spins around with a ray of like laser that goes around, and then after you beat the first phase, he hits you down with like he swings like a bunch of hammers that you have to dodge. And I felt like there's so much health like pickups along that whole thing, health and ammo, and so like it just made it really easy. But it was cool. It was a fun game, and I think it's a game that you may overlook just because like it is like a smaller game and it's a mindless first person shooter, and that's what I like about it. Again, colors and explosions, and I like it. So
I was curious about the weapons that you saw too, because if do you have like any insight on like the weapons that you were able to use? Because again, if you look at the trailer, like you would think like this like bullet hell first person shooter as they call it, you'd be seeing stuff like shotguns and like automatics and stuff like that, but it looks like you almost had like kind of like toy style weapons. Yeah, it looked strange.
there's one gun that I unlocked. It literally was like the barrel's holding this little teeny blaster, like literally like pinching the gun, but when he shot it, it shoots you back as
Oh,
well.
like the
So
mini
like
cricket from
yeah,
Men in Black.
yeah, exactly, and so that's what they have it done tons of different guns that it says up to 25 different guns, and I'm sure they can add more with DLC or patches and all that stuff, but so there's gonna be 25 different guns. The one I unlocked was an SMG, a pistol that which is like it has infinite ammo and like it's just like a pea shooter, like it really doesn't hurt anything. A shotgun, um, a Gatling gun, and then a rocket launcher. And so like it's very fun in terms like there's different ways to shoot enemies. One thing I did complain like I was complaining about is like the ammo, like you deplete the ammo so fast, but as you level up, you can level up the capacity of ammo. But I was like, man, I just started using this gun and I'm already out of ammo. Like so, like you kill one enemy and it's like the ammo's gone. So
Oh, sweet. Here's 60 rounds and they're gone.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I felt. But there's also a lot of spawns of ammo, but never the ammo I wanted. Like I wanted tons of RPG or like the rocket launcher ammo, and it never seemed to pop up for me.
Yeah, the guns themselves just looked really weird. I was getting vibes of like the early South Park games where you had like super weird stuff like the cow launcher and like these almost look like he's like holding like Nerf guns or something.
It kind of reminds me of that game that was made by the same Rick and Morty people. Oh, wow. High on Life. It reminded me of that kind of weapons. Like how it's just completely goofy alien guns, but this one it has that kind of feel to it with the gun wise. And even like the way the game played kind of felt like High on Life, to be honest. Like a very simplified version of High on Life.
I think it looks really, really cool. The one thing that I couldn't find though, and I don't know if you have any insight on this, is this a single player campaign or is this gonna be like an online like co-op that you can play with friends?
And that was actually one of my complaints. I think it is just a single player game.
Just a single
I think
player?
this yeah, I think
Okay.
this is one that could definitely have been super fun to be multiplayer, but my wonder with it is, it's so small of, like, a group, like, they probably can't handle, like, servers and stuff like that, but maybe in the future, if this game does well enough, they would consider unlocking something like that, but it would be fun to go around shooting, like, friend or not shooting friends, but, like, having groups of people play with me.
Oh yeah. No, it would be fun to do like a multiplayer co-op where you could get like two or three buddies together and like maybe they work out a system where, if you load in with X number of people, like the difficulty kind of ramps up to, accommodate for that. But it was weird that I couldn't find anything on like the online support or, anything like that.
On Steam, it says single player.
Yeah. So it's very rare to see just a single player experience kind of drop now, isn't it?
Right, especially like this one too. Like this one seems like it could and should be more multiplayer. Just the way I think how fast it is, it would feel like it'd be so much more fun with friends with having hordes of enemies come in.
Yeah, horde shooters are always much more fun with friends. So like you said, though, and like we talked about being developed by Broadside Games. I mean, guys, it really is just three friends that threw an indie game together, and it looks really, really fun. It doesn't look like anything groundbreaking, and I don't think it needs to be anything groundbreaking. It just looks like a really fun game that a bunch of buddies made, and like we said, it's probably taxing for them. They probably don't have the resources to do any type of like online servers or anything like that, but if there's support from the community and people love the game, I mean, it's definitely something that they'll probably be looking at. So
And one other little thing I almost didn't like about the game is your movement, like forward and back, and like or your movement in general was so fast. I couldn't like keep up with how fast I was moving compared to, and then I had to bring my controller sensitivity like way down because like I can't keep track. So that's my only complaint, but I think that's how it's supposed to feel. Like really fast paced and like you should move fast. The enemies are moving fast, but for me, I just couldn't keep up with it. But the more I played, I got used to it. But initially, I was like, "Holy cow! Like, how am I going to keep track of this?" But other than that, it's fun.
I mean, I did kind of notice that a little bit in the trailer. I was kind of worried about like, wow, that I might get sick playing this game because it's just like but I thought maybe that was just like an option where like I could in the settings where I could like tank that down to my boomer level that needs to be a little bit slower.
I definitely, like I said, I brought the sensitivity of the controller way down. That helped a lot because even like the moving your head side to side is like, whoa, I can't keep up with how fast they're moving. But the more you play, the more you get used to it, I guess. So, but I liked it. It's a fun game. I'll probably pick it up at some point at once it fully releases. But yeah, it's one to check out. Thumbs up for me.
Should be a really fun game, guys. Again, Bears in Space drops March 22nd, 2024. So it's going to be very, very, very soon. And like we said, developed by Broadside Games. Three friends that just kind of put a game together. And we love that here at the Let's Talk Nerdy podcast. So guys, if you see this, congratulations. Well done. I think it's a really, really cool idea. And we are wishing you all the best on the game. Definitely check it out, put it on your wish list, give them some support, and yeah, we'll see where it goes.